Hey folks, such the millennial opening that I need to change and get better at, but I don't know exactly how to open up without saying hi, because is that not how you greet a person when you see them? You say hello? Well, I'm on my lunch break, actually the second part because I went for a walk and I wanted to stop by because today is the first episode of season 2 of the In Her Image podcast. Yes, if you follow me, I have multiple podcasts and more coming. It's just my way of sharing all the things with you. It's, you know, the what God has put in my heart. But there's something that this morning, actually just now when I was walking, I was thinking about and I was laughing at myself. And some of you who I'm really close to, and my publisher knows this, Melisa Farndell from the UK is coming tomorrow. I am so, so excited that she's going to be here. She is the fearless leader of Paper Crown Publishing and is part of she is my publisher. So I'm so glad that she's flying all the way over the pond to come visit. We have an authors forum in Jacksonville, Florida this Saturday at 4 p.m. Now, if you are a local person and you just want to come, like maybe you're not an author or writer, that's okay. Like, I would love to see you because I don't get up to Jacksonville often. So come and join us at Cup of Job, 4 p.m. There is a fall festival going on, so just be prepared. Parking's going to be a little bit difficult, but it'll be an opportunity for us to hang out, chat, and you're going to get to meet Melisa and all of that. So I'm super excited about that. And Melisa knows this. And actually, some of my author friends that I've known for several years know this. Um, and I was laughing at myself because I have been wrong before, and I am a person who does not care. Like, I am not ashamed of being wrong. I actually love when I learn that I'm wrong because it, in a way, shows growth and also is like, what else am I getting wrong? Like for me, it's like it's this journey, it's this chase, it's this discovery. And what I've been wrong about, and I think even wait, I'm just saying because I need to preface this because y'all are gonna think I'm crazy. For those of you who don't know me, even people from Jesus House, now we're called Ripple, we're rebranding, but before that we were Jesus House and we had like this home group community of people. Um, some of like the OGs know this about me too. And that's why like when you grow and you change and then you kind of do or say something that you said you never would, it's not hypocritical. It's growth, right? Like there's healing involved and all this stuff, which we'll get to. But I just found it hysterical and I laugh at myself because one of the things I said I would never do is women only stuff. All right. So if you're if you've been around, you've been seeing my posts, you know that I have a devotional that's specifically for women out called In Her Image. And I was so resistant to this for a very long time. And I was clearly very wrong and misguided, clearly hurt and needed some healing, which I feel like not just the book, but everything that I'm working on around the book, and just the last several years of my life have really demonstrated just how much healing I have gone through, and even some healing that I didn't even know I needed. Okay. So the reason behind me not wanting to do women's only stuff is because I had a very negative connotation to women's only events, specifically related to like church stuff. So that's all I know. I grew up in that environment. So I did used to hang out with girlfriends who weren't Christian, but that was very seldom. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about church related women only events. I was very anti those. And the reason is because growing up, what I felt I saw, and again, I recognize that there is perception and there are filters, and some of it can be based on hurt and pain. And I've healed from it. And what I'm about to say, I still stand by it. While I understand it's a perception and may not have been the case for everyone, I'm sharing with you what I felt I saw, like what I perceived. So, growing up, and I grew up in a Portuguese Brazilian church. So, it was not American culture. Okay. So, I'll just leave it at that. And the cultures may be different because I didn't grow up in American church. I don't know what it's like in an American culture church. Okay. I've been to them now. And I've been to women's events, and that's probably why I've changed because my experience there has been different. But growing up, what I perceived was women's events were a moment for women to be away from their husbands, to complain about their husbands, their kids, and their lives. How difficult it was, how hard it was, how much it stunk. Like, that was, and it was almost like they needed to get together to heal from being a woman. Okay. So that was my perception. That was what I felt women's events were for. Therefore, when I grew up and I got to where I am now, and then we started ministry, I was like, no, 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 no women's only thing. We're not about that. I'm not a man hater. I love my life. I love my kids. Is it hard? Yes. But why can't we all just get along, right? Like, both genders, like, let's get along. We can all have adult conversations and not talk about each other behind each other's backs. Some of you may be like, what are you talking about, Andrea? Maybe that wasn't your experience. And if that's the case, then I am so happy that you did not have that experience because it's not healthy at all. That was my experience. But I've received a lot of healing. And I don't want to get into my past because I'm kind of in a good place right now and I don't want to think about that. But when I when I did leave the situation that I was in, I had every reason and excuse to be a man hater. And I have to say that I was for a little bit. I was very independent. I was like, I don't need a man. I could live the rest of my life by myself. And then, Mike and I were friends for, I don't know, almost a year before we started dating. But even then, it was hard for me because I was very scared. But I'm in this marriage. I absolutely love and adore my husband. I think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's funny, he's intelligent, he listens to me, respects me. And you know what's funny is I was listening to, I don't know where it was, but like with Charlie Kirk, who was it that someone had mentioned, I think it was the vice president. He had mentioned that Charlie had never raised his voice to his wife, and JD was like, I have something to learn from that. And I'm like, Mike hasn't raised his voice at me. I think he knows better than to. But he's like, I was telling Mike the other day, sometimes he can be like really tough with people, but with me, he is not like that. Like, the dude literally treats me so good. Does he get frustrated with me? Yes. No one blames him for that. Okay. Like, no one blames him. I'm a very passionate, driven person. I'm very opinionated, as is he. I don't know, but he's just such a great husband. Um, but over the last few years, I have really developed some beautiful relationship with females. And I had a very difficult relationship with females when I was younger. I've talked about that before. I'm not going to talk about it here now, but again, my perception, my story, whether it was reality or not, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I perceived it wrong, maybe it was coming from a place of pain and insecurity. I can admit that when I was a teenager, I was very insecure, but I felt like I was bullied, especially more so in the church than in school, to be honest. At school, I loved school. Everyone I was friends with in school treated me great. But in church, I didn't have that experience. And I've had some like solid female relationships over the years. I have some that I've had since I was a young girl. Some people that I still talk to today, probably like what, three or four maybe. Two of them I'm stronger with than others. But uh over the last couple years, it's like 2, 3 years, I have developed some really amazing female friends, like friends who don't compete, don't criticize, don't don't like condemn. So I'm not going to say the word judge because you're always welcome to judge me, but judge and condemn, judgment and condemn are two different things. So there are females who don't condemn me, they're not competing with me. They're like, I empower them, they empower me. They understand I don't have time to go hang out at the mall, and they're busy doing their thing, and they have other friends and I have other friends, and I'm all over the place all the time. So, and I have lots of different friends from different walks of life. And it has been such an amazing experience for me to be surrounded by such strong, confident, intelligent, beautiful, godly women. And I've loved life for a very long time, even though I've gone through hell and back and then went there again and came back. And then went there again and came back. Um, and sometimes your friends are definitely forged in the fire. And I've had people who were there during good times and people who were there during bad times. And that's when you see who your friends are and like who you can really count on. There are people in my life that, by all means, like in definition, are people will probably say, oh, they're more of an acquaintance. But to be honest, they're people like, if I needed them, I know that I could call them and they would help. And I hope that they know that they could call me and I would help. Like, you need me, you're in the hospital, like you're struggling, like, dude, I'm there for you. I love you and I want the best for you. So I have been diving into Proverbs 31 since 2020. I remember vividly because there was a book that I got that I absolutely loved. And I loved the book, but it was very much geared towards uh wives and moms, but not all women are wives and moms. And I really want to help the younger generation because, like I said, I had some insecurities when I was a teenager, and I just want everyone to know that they were created and designed in the image of God, and they were created for more. Like, you have purpose. There is something that you have that this world absolutely needs. And there's no reason to wake up dreading life every day. I don't care how hard things are. I have been through lots of things that are hard, but I never woke up not wanting to be here. I woke up wanting to fight and get on the other side because I always knew it would be better. Thankfully, I can say one more time, I feel like I'm on the other side and it feels so good. I love it. But I was so wrong about this women's only thing because it has really brought me so much joy to have women around me that are fierce and passionate and like all different, like different personalities, different ways of living, different phases of life, different passions and gifts. And like, it has just filled me up so much. And that's why, over the next couple years, you're probably going to see me like connecting a bunch of people because I'm like, you need to know this person and this person needs to know that person and that person needs like, because I hear you all and I kind of can pick up on your dreams and your passions and your purpose. And sometimes, connecting with people who are along the same lines can be pretty amazing. So yeah. So now I'm on, not only did I write a book for women, but I'm probably going to be on this train for the next 2 years based on my projections. I'll be focused on the in her image message. So the identity message for females. Now, to be honest, from a podcast perspective for Destiny Awaits, we're going to pick that back up soon, if not at the beginning of the calendar year. But I do have a book called In His Image, which is for everyone. It's like the core identity message, and in her image comes out of in his image. So for those of you who are like, in her image, what are you talking about? God's not a girl. And people were like, oh, that title's a little provocative. Yes, I know it's provocative, but if you read the book and you listen to my content, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because the Proverbs 31 woman is a portrayal, is an analogy, is a picture of a woman made in the image of God, because all of her character traits reflect God's image. And that's essentially what it is. And within each devotion, not only do we talk about this woman and the character trait focus for the day, but then we also go into God and we talk about within this character trait, like how does God portray that character? Like how do we see that in God so that we know when we're walking in the image of this woman within Proverbs 31, in reality, at the core, we're walking in God's image. And it just gives us a very practical way of looking at it. That's why I wrote the book, because so often like I say things like, we're made in the image of God, we're in the image of likeness of God, God loves us, but we really don't understand what that means and what that looks like and how to live that out. And what about this situation and that situation? How do I apply? I don't know how to read the Bible, I don't know. So I wrote the book to make it easy to have a scriptural foundation to live out this God given image, this reflection of Him that we have. So I have some updated ones because I've updated, but like this is the soft cover. So you have soft cover. Here's the inside of the book. So it's in color, and then you have the journal portion, and the formatting is going to look a little bit different because we made some updates. And then we also have the hardcover, which I absolutely love. And So my publisher is Paper Crown Publishing. I absolutely love the Paper Crown family. They've been amazing. Literally, we are a family, and they have been my inspiration for so many things. That I write and I produce. But then, just to finish off here, I'm gonna work on a few things. So just to really expand the resources for women when it comes to in her image. So I'm gonna work on the Kindle version and the audio version. That was a little tough for me. I was very resistant. Again, another thing that I was wrong about. I was very resistant because I really wanted in her image to be an experience. So you pick the book, you kind of, you go in it, you focus on it, you journal, you write, like you really put some thought in it, because I'm all about thinking through what you believe and making sure you write it down. And but I'd rather people have access to it than not. So we'll also expand to have a Kindle version and an audio version, hopefully early next year. Then I'm going to make a version for college girls. So girls who go off to college, that phase of life. I'm going to create one for teens, for preteens, and then for children. So we're going to have all different age groups. And why? Because again, this is about making these concepts, talking about the character traits making it applicable, right? So, what does it look like for a wife? What does it look like for a mom? There's a great book out there that I absolutely love, that focuses on that. But not everyone is a wife and not everyone is a mom. And there's other ways that someone is calling me. Um, and there's other ways that we can express those character traits that don't have to do with our husband and our kids. And then when you have, let's say, a college age kid who just leaves their home and they're experiencing life on their own for themselves, that's going to look a little bit different. And how we exhibit or see the character traits are going to be different. A teen in high school or a preteen, and then even a small child. These are principles for girls that we could start working on from the beginning because, like I said, I had insecurity issues when I was growing up, and whether it was, rightfully so or not, doesn't matter. What matters is that girls need to learn that they're created in the image and likeness of God. They have a strength about them. They have a power and a passion behind them. There's all these things that girls exhibit, and sometimes there's this negative connotation, but really it's a strength that they have. And I 100% believe that when a young girl understands that she is made in the image and likeness of God and that she has callings and a purpose that may be different from someone else, she's going to be confident in that and realize, like, I don't have to be like the other person. I don't need to compare myself to them. What they say doesn't matter. What God says matters. What my parents say matters, especially if the parents are loving and caring and, instilling things into them. So, I really want to start pursuing that, and just mentoring young girls and getting them to love themselves. Everyone always talks about, the two greatest commandments: love God above all else and love others as yourself. Um, but what often gets missed is the fact that it says love others as yourself, which means you have to love yourself first, which means you need to let God love you first because he is love, and we cannot love unless we are loved by him who is the source. So, having us realize that we are so absolutely loved by God to the point where he formed us, created us, put in us this design, but also specific callings and purposes, which will come next. So after in her image, um, when I finish all these projects, we're going to roll into, which I may simultaneously, starting with the retreat next year, roll into purpose and calling. And what is your purpose and your calling? And within the church, let's be for real. Like, I, I always use the term biffer, let's be biffer here. Um, still a lot of misogyny in the church. Okay, listen, I believe men have their roles, women have their roles. I am very traditional in my views of roles. But I also have a husband who doesn't see me as a servant, a slave, or a submissive. He sees me as a partner in life. And it makes a huge difference, um, in how you experience life, even as a woman. But what I also see happening, which is why I want to get into this purpose topic, is that, especially because I've been there, especially when you have young kids and your life is all consumed with husband and kids and home, you feel like, is this all there is? Like, I feel all I'm doing is I'm in this house, I'm taking care, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I feel like I'm called to this, I feel like I'm called to that, and now I don't have time to do ministry and do this and do that. And I've been there and I know what that feels like. And one day I had this revelation. I've shared about this in the past. I won't get into it now, but I had this revelation that changed everything for me. and realizing that our roles is not our identity and our calling and our purpose is not our identity. They're two different things, but we can actually live out our purpose in our everyday life, including in our home. And oftentimes we are we are devaluing our main, I'm going to say in quotes, like ministry with our family, with our husband, and with our kids, because we're so focused on comparing ourselves to everyone else. Oh, I want to be like that person on stage. Or I want to do this. I want to do that. Like, we're all called in different ways. We all have different phases of life. We all have different roles in different phases of life. But when you know your purpose, it doesn't matter the phase of life that you're in. It does not matter the role, whether you're a pastor or a speaker in front of tens of thousands, or you're a mom at home. You're that same person. And like in this moment, I'm a mom. And in this moment, I'm speaking to tens of thousands of people. It doesn't matter, because you can actually serve your purpose in every single role you have every single day. The problem is we don't know what our purpose is, and we're looking at other people and saying that right there, like that's my, no, that's not that's their purpose and that's their calling. And maybe yours is supposed to look similar, but maybe it's not. Maybe you're thinking about it differently because you have this narrow view and you're looking at what the person does and not who the person is and not what their purpose is. When you realize what your purpose is, you don't limit yourself. So, for example, I always wanted to be an author. It's what I wanted to be. But really, I wanted to be a public speaker. And it's like, well, what am I supposed to be? Am I supposed to be an author? Am I supposed to be a speaker? Well, what's my purpose? And when I was able to find my purpose, I realized I can be an author and I can be a speaker and I can be a podcast host, because it all fits within my purpose. And I can wake up every day excited about life and not feel overwhelmed with everything that I have to do, because as long as what I'm doing that day serves my purpose, then all is okay. And this message of identity is foundational. So before we even get, everyone who does my retreats knows, before we even get into any topic, first and foremost, we talk about God and identity. Number one, foundational. You cannot build anything in life before you have that down, because you want to build on a strong foundation. So, yeah, guys, it's okay to be wrong. Being wrong means growth. Being wrong, recognizing that you're wrong, means you've healed, you've grown, something has changed in you. It means you're humble enough to recognize and confident enough to know that you're growing and that you don't have it all figured out. And that's okay. Nobody does. I'm teaching this stuff doesn't mean I have it all figured out. It just means I'm sharing what I've figured out so far. And for those who followed me over the years, like, it's changed, it's morphed, it's grown. I've been able to understand concepts better, explain things better, live it better. And that's my main priority. It's to live it. It's not to speak it. By the time this book comes out, or any book comes out, by the time any of my books come out, my publishing company knows this. I have lived it. I have gone through it. I have shed many a tears, because this is coming from a place of deep, deep experience and revelation and understanding, and the time taken to figure out, how can I help you come to the realization and freedom that I have, where you can wake up every day, whether sun or rain, and love life. Because You have purpose and you are here for a reason. So I'm glad that I was wrong. I am excited. I have been meeting so many incredible women, and I know that I have so many more to meet. So please don't ever be shy to introduce yourself, to contact me, to talk to me. And if you are local, I'm in Northeast Florida. If you are local, we have two get togethers this weekend. If you're a female, reach out to me, and I would love to meet you and get in touch with you. If you have a small group, a women's group, and you want to go through this study, I have bulk pricing for the books. I'm also working on a special project specifically for that. And if you'd like, I can join one of your book club meetings and talk to everybody and get to meet everybody. I would just absolutely love that. So that's it for today, guys. I'm going to head back to work. Probably go get some water before I do that. But I'm so excited. Listen, season 2 of the podcast is now live and up. So go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's on YouTube as well. Head out there, take a listen. It's less than 10 minutes. Each week, we're going to talk about something different. In today's episode, I kind of lay out what the next 8 weeks is going to look like on the podcast. So I'll see you there. I'll see you in the Facebook group. I'll see you here in on Facebook and all the places. And I hope to see you live soon. So also, if you're from San Antonio, we'll be out there. I keep forgetting. I think the 20, I'll be there like 18 to 22 or something like that. So if you're in that area, reach out to me. I would love to meet you. All right. Bye, guys.